Welcome to Next Level Operators, where we spotlight the people building high-performing businesses and how they're thinking about what's next. Today's guest is Gene Russell. He's the co-founder of Go Dawgs Roof in Atlanta, Georgia. Gene has spent over 2 decades working across insurance, adjusting, contracting, and today he operates a roofing company alongside several other services that support roofers, homeowners in a variety of different ways. And that makes Gene an interesting guest. He not only installs roof, but he's seen this industry from every angle, from the carrier side, the contractor side, the homeowner side, and now the systems and technology side. So today we're going to talk with Gene about, his background, what has shaped where he is today, his roofing business, but also what he thinks about trust, reputation, and what he believes is the next version of for roofing companies. Gene, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
Absolutely. I gave you that a little intro, but I think the place to start is on you and kind of how you got to where you are today. You didn't start out as a roofing contractor. Maybe you can just walk us through your background a little bit and the different roles that you've played, in this industry over the years.
Absolutely, and thank you for such a great introduction. I'm a little bit long in the tooth these days, and I have started into this industry years ago. I had a catalyzing event that got me into it. Actually, we lost our home in Hurricane Ike over in the coast of Texas in Galveston, and we had an insurance claim like everybody else, and due to some strange definitions that we didn't understand back then, us and all the other residential people in our area, other Texas windstorm, were denied coverage, and people were left in a very bad predicament. And I was blessed to have my parents living in Atlanta at the time. And like any hero, I returned home and lived with mom and dad and started again in Atlanta and became fascinated in what happened to us and entered into the insurance adjusting field as an independent adjuster. I came back and got a second degree in residential construction management so I could learn some more of the business end of construction. And I entered into the industry as an independent adjuster working for several insurance companies, State Farm being the first one. Hurricane Sandy, I met my business partner, Ken Lawler, and we kind of struck up a fast friendship, kind of got turned off a little bit in some of the way the claims management was going. People were getting denied that we felt like should have been provided coverage, and became intrigued with the public side of adjusting. And then we moved over and began working for a public adjusting firm, property damage specialist out of Jacksonville, Florida. A few years after that, we decided to venture out onto our own, began Fifth Element Adjusting based out of St. Augustine. My partner, Ken Lawler, and a mutual friend, or his friend at the time, Ryan Holiday, had a genius idea and started a company called Ink, I-I-N-K, and it pertains to gaining a digital endorsement from the mortgage company on settled insurance claims, 3-party checks, and moving that money into the homeowner's pocket, into the contractor through pay rails digitally, moving that process up very, very much faster than what it normally goes. And it's been successful. I adjusted loss all over Florida, Georgia, all over the United States as a public adjuster. I say all over most of the East Coast, stuff like that. And through a series of events, and I was working in Tampa as a PA. I returned home to Atlanta basically to spend time with my mother and take care of her. And through necessity and frustration and claims and stuff like that, we began a roofing company and called Go Dawgs Roof. When we have a unique product offering, we spray Peak 301 roof rejuvenation. Is a soybean plant-based oil that's eco-friendly and green. It's very inexpensive. It's not toxic, no soy methyl ester, and we restore shingles. And we also do full replacements and stuff like that. But we try to get the most out of a asphalt shingle roof that we can before replacement. And we've helped coordinate with our clients' insurance companies to help them move policies that they had existing or letters they may have gotten in the mail reducing their coverage back into full replacement coverage. And we've kind of entered into a consultation partnership with the University of Georgia. We're in their office of SBDC and innovative design, and they consult with us and help us in several ways. And so one of them was the namesake. And we were joking one day at lunch and came to pass. We were to say, hey, why don't we call it Go Dawgs Roof? And it went to legal. They said it was fine. And so now we are a Georgia-based company called Go Dawgs Roof. We also do our own lead gen, and we'll get into all of it. I could go on forever and turn this podcast into a drone if you want to, droning saga. But there's a lot of things that we do that we feel like are on the front end of technology and roofing. We partner with other roofing companies to do roof rejuvenation and lead gen through PayPixel, another one of our ventures. And I'm happy to talk to you about all of it.
Sure. Well, I'm curious, how long, you said you started Go Dog Roof. How long ago was that?
Oh, it's a new company, probably in May. We're 2.5 years old. Started in May of 2023, and May 26th will be our year three. We've built out our tech and everything like that, and kind of more of a 5 mile famous kind of model where we're kind of working locally and working our way out, but we do cover everywhere in the state. We've got a very deep labor pool and affiliate contractors that we coordinate with. So we make sure all of our clients are taken care of.
So you mentioned me that you have worn every hat in the field.
Feel like it.
It's a pretty wide field. How do you manage all those, different hats? Is there overlap, or are you doing unique things for each one of these organizations?
Unique things. Of course, we cannot be a public adjuster and your contractor on the same claim or anything like that. We do provide public adjusting services more or less these days, or larger loss claims and stuff like that. But the how I wear the different hats is that you just give the time where you can. I mean, we're developing the technologies and we've almost become a business services for roofing companies. And as we move Go Dogs Roof into 2026, and this Q1 has our emphasis has been on our lead generation through drone technology and how we do that and how we can do that for other roofers as well, and partner with our white label project called Peak Pros, where we'll white label the roof rejuvenation for other roofing companies, giving them an opportunity to get into the rejuvenation market as a white label. And then we'll do a profit share with those guys. And there's no out of pocket risk for them to do that. We get a set price per square. They get the rest, and we help them retain their clients for the long haul. For when the time comes when roof replacement is necessary, they're already locked in with their contractor. So we help build those pipelines and relationships for other roofing contractors as well. We just don't want to compete anymore. I feel like with the way things are going, that we have a lot of plug-in services that benefit us and it can benefit them as well without creating a big competition. We can work together and get the same things done.
Got it. So is that kind of where you're leaning, as opposed to, operating Go Dog Roof, more, a white labeling of Go Dog Roof business model?
Well, Peak Pros is a standalone. So if you look at it like this, we've created a roofing company and we have 7 territories in the North Georgia area in exclusivity to spray Peak 301 rejuvenation oil. So other contractors can't come in and just simply pick up and do that because there's a territorial rights. But what we are able to do through our relationship with them, and not to lock other contractors out, we can do partnerships with them, and what they would do is sell and we would fulfill. That's called Peak Pros, Pros. And if you go to Peak Pros of Georgia, you can see the entire sheet online there of how that works. And we don't label that as Go Dogs Roof. Actually, I use Peak Pros as Go Dogs Roof. So when I go out and rejuvenate, that's a white label project that my guys go out in Peak 301 gear, not Go Dogs, whatever gear, and we white label that out. I'll still have a sign out in the yard that way. They're 2 different entities. I just happen to have interest in both of them.
Gotcha. So if someone was to shadow you for a week, what would they see? What are you personally involved in versus what your team is handling?
It's great that you asked that, actually. It was a client, he's now a territory owner for Peak 301 out of Oklahoma, who asked the same question. Could he come out and spend a day with me? Because he's like, what do you do in a day if you're all of these things? And so he came out, he spent a couple of days, and it's not as maddening as what it kind of sounds like. It's not like I'm handling 5 claims and then this, that, and a whole bunch of builds at one time. But since we are kind of condensed in an area, I'm able to service a claim and then a build or whatever in a day. I showed them how my operation works. It's very streamlined because I'm the only one here. Most of my relationships are either subcontractor relationships or my administrative staff. So a day for me looks like it could start with an insurance claim and end with a build like it did today, vice versa, or sitting down with other contractors, helping them build their businesses out.
So those basically operating the Go Dog roof, still managing claims, and then basically helping expand out the white label program.
Absolutely. We have partnerships. We have a platform that we built for contractors. They can enter into it. It's mostly Peak 301 contractors. So as a public adjuster, I have a partnership with a law firm and they assist me with public adjusting skills, stuff like that. They'll handle the office end of it. I'll handle the estimating and the discovery. So what I've learned through the years and years of doing this is I can't do anything alone and I'm as strong as the weakest link, which is me. And I've got some pretty good links. My partners, the guys that have developed these other technologies, I support my entire business on doing that, and that's what makes it easy. We also kind of support each other through.
Yeah, I think I understand that. So I guess I'm wondering, as your company's grown and as you guys have expanded out, what decisions and what really requires your personal attention versus, actually, let me frame that differently. As your business has grown and you have, expanded out, what have you had to do to manage all of those moving parts, on a day-to-day basis, right? You described having control over it, but to me that sounds like a complicated thing, so as you're growing that, how do you maintain the level of service that is required to be successful?
No, it's a great question. And basically, my challenge is how am I stop working for my company and start working and leading the companies. And so on adjusting, we are a fully built out staff. We have a full staff of people that work for us at Fifth Element. So what I need to do in relationship to a claim is either I can have it. I mean, I've got a staff of field inspectors and stuff like that. As my company grows with Go Dogs like that, I've got a project manager and crews, and I turn over projects to them and they come back to me and I'll do customer relations and things like that. And then I have a drone pilot when I do leads, and I explain that to you. We do that through PayPixel. So instead of a sales force, I kind of have a, for lack of a better term, but my Salesforce is what I use with PayPixel. And I have a pilot that will go out and collect 1,000 photographs of roofs for me, upload them into our PayPixel system. And that creates a digital image of the roof with artificial intelligence and damage assessment, which comes back to me as a photograph with damage marked digitally that I can send to my client through a QR code that they can see a picture of their actual roof. They touch the damage that's been marked. A movie or picture will come up and it'll show them the damage and it links back to me. So when instead of old school door knocking and some of the other things that we have done in the past to solicit business, our technology is to a place now where people can access and see their roofs digitally. I'm having a conversation with an HOA next week where we have taken about 2,700 photographs of roofs. One picture, there's 2,700 homes, it's one picture of each roof. And I am going to them and tell them that I have done this, and I'm going to be able to put a QR code up, and every single person that wishes can access their roof, see the damage that they have, keep the picture just in case a storm comes through, like they've been rolling through Atlanta these last years. They have their before pictures now. If there's any dispute with the carrier about this is old damage or new damage, they have got a digital image of their roof with damage already marked on it, or no damage if there isn't any, for them to keep. And if they ever need us, they can simply press a button and it access us. We capture their information. We'll be in touch with them with our three offerings: repair if need be, rejuvenate if that's the way they wish to go, or replace the roof. So that kind of replaces a door knocking campaign or a whole bunch of salespeople and things like that. So simply as my claims come in or clients come in through QR code and other mechanisms that way, I'll dispatch that out to my project manager. He can go ahead and assess the damage, do a more granular inspection. We use Eagle View autonomous drone inspections too. We try to stay off the roof if there's any chance of an insurance claim until that day. And then if it's a retail roof, we'll look at it, see if there's if we can make a repair. We lend towards making repairs and rejuvenating first, and then full replacements as the last thing that we try to offer, just because most people don't have that kind of money laying around. Like, again, our goal is to keep our clients for the long term in our pipeline and then get the most value out of the existing roof that they have. So to answer your original question, how do I dispatch that? It's a lot of management, but to keep everything off of like a on staff and stuff like that. Most of these guys are subcontractors and guys I've worked with for years and years.
Got it. So, this is a relationship driven, company of yours. And I guess as customers are going through this channel, right? You bring them in and then they go through a process with you of working with you. What is the experience that you're trying to create for them? What do you want them to come away saying as they refer you to their next people about their experience working with you guys?
Want my time in the industry, especially as a public adjuster, would see roofing companies come into a neighborhood or storm chase and overwhelm homeowners with let us call this claim in and let us represent you. People acting without a public adjuster's license. I've watched roofers get extremely wealthy doing this, and we made good money as adjusters too. I'm not taking exception with that. I think what we've done though is we've put our homeowners in a precarious position when these roof claims do not work out. Like the roofers would just leave and move on to the next one and leave a homeowner in a bad situation with an open roof or damaged roof, and they didn't get the settlement that they need. Now they've got a claim on their record. What we're trying to do is to move the relationship between homeowner, contractor, and insurance company from combative to a co-agreement to manage the risk or what's for the betterment of the home at a low barrier for entry. That's why we emphasize repair, replace, and rejuvenate. And then we use our insurance acumen to report back. We give the information to the homeowner. They can give it to their insurance company. This is what we've done to take care of our most important investment, our home. Insurance companies now are moving into a schedule of maintenance for roofs that are going to put the impetus of this onto the homeowner to maintain the roof, wash the roof, and report back to them, or they're going to get reduction of coverages. So what we try to do is stem that and not have homeowners get reduction of coverages because they need their insurance in these times, especially when the roof gets over 10 years old. Our clients are getting letters from 30-year roofs when the roof reaches 10 years old. These roofs are supposed to last 25, 30 years. We understand that we can do that if you maintain the roof. And if you don't maintain the roof, that's why they're not making it. We've got storm damage and stuff like that happening. So that's our goal.
Yeah, no,
That's what,
yeah, no, it's smart.
and we're having a lot of success with that. You know,
A lot of conversations I'm having with people in the insurance side of this is like, how do we adapt, right, to the changing environment? Because, storms have been happening more. Insurance companies are changing how they cover and yeah. And so ultimately you got to adapt or die. And it sounds like you guys are doing that, kind of looking at this industry, looking how it's changing and figuring out how to adjust your business to meet the changing of the times. So I like it. It's smart.
it's really to help people. If you go back to the very first thing we talked about is losing my home in a hurricane and not having coverage, or I had coverage, but they didn't pay the claim. That's a whole nother subject. But I know what it feels like to lose everything in a night. And I understand what it feels like when you feel like your insurance company covers you and you're protected and you're not. And so these relationships have become toxic just because of greed in the industry on both sides. Both sides are guilty. I've worked on both sides and we've all can understand that. If we can bring this temperature down with this homeowners insurance business by taking care of the risk and ending fraud, contractor fraud, and making sure that these homes are in the best shape they can be, these insurance companies will issue coverage back to the homeowner, and we can get back to some normalcy. And insurance companies can start paying claims that are righteous to be paid because our reporting is tight. We do this through drone technology, leveraging the pay pixels and the stuff and that we do with that kind of tech as well. So what we feel like we're building is a service, and we don't want to keep it for ourselves. In fact, we feel like we're going to be more successful the more we share this with other roofing companies, power washing companies, gutter companies. Any company that does exterior work can benefit by moving this forward and not locking people out with territories, but using the territories to invite them in.
Yeah, I like how you're marrying. It's clear you're not, you're comfortable with technology, and so the question I think is like, how do you marry the two, right? How do you marry the technological, benefits with the personal business practices, the traditional way of working? Are there parts of the roofing process, where you find technology has helped you be more consistent, and responsive to your customers?
Do in the sense that if we photograph the roof, we already have an understanding of what's going on out there. Communication's a lot faster through all of these other mechanisms. AI has made it really easy to get roof measurements back. In an insurance claim, ink is vital to getting our contractors paid and our clients paid. I rely on tech every day, but nothing replaces taking a roof off and putting a roof on the right way. But the action of doing that is repeatable and replicable in the sense that if your crews do it right the right way every single time, it's very repeatable for them. And we're finding that it's easier to do things the correct way than it is to cut corners like that. And with our reporting practices and how we do that, we kind of make that impossible because we're going to get ourselves in trouble if we don't. We kind of keep a video record of every action that we take just for transparency, because it's just because we're doing it already.
Yeah.
Working in a neighborhood now, we put a sign out with a QR code on it. People are walking their pets right now, their dogs. They're over there looking at roofs. They can scan it and say, "There's my roof right there." They'll call me just to have a conversation about how did you do this? Is it legal? Who are and I love those conversations because when they're uptight at the beginning and they understand what I'm trying to do for them, and then we have a friendship. And if they don't use me, I'm in their phone. You know, and we want everybody to have we want to get the contractors have a bad reputation for a reason. They've earned it. And we've earned it. We want to change that. We want to make that a trust driven relationship again for these local contractors around here. And I think we can do that with our technology.
Yeah, I get that. So, when you look at the industry, over the next 5 years, what do you think is going to separate, the strongest operators from everybody else?
It feels like private equity is swallowing up all these companies. And so, what you asked to project is really hard. It's difficult because it seems like once you reach that 2 to 4 million a year gross, that somebody comes and snatches you up. Now it's really up to the bigger players. But what I hope is for a way to do what we're doing and that becomes implemented nationwide and it is. We got close to 40 other contractors nationwide doing this right now with Peak 301. But you know, with an effort to do this, it will reduce the carbon footprint of all the waste of all these shingles being done, reduce cost, and then bring normalcy back to the claims process and reporting. I think in the next 5 years, we should be able to do that if everybody kind of somewhat agrees.
So, for someone listening who wants to build a roofing business that lasts, what would you tell them to focus on right now?
Build your back office first, always. I did it. What all of us end up doing is run out and start building roofs without having, your accounts receivable, your accounts payable, all your tech and all that. Go Dogs, we took a solid year and didn't do much business just building our infrastructure, just trying to do the things to stay true to our mission statement and to make sure that we move purposefully in small steps so that we could have it's what I've described to you is very complicated sounding, but in actuality, it makes life very easy. You can run a roofing company with an iPhone if you know, if you implement these things. But it's taken time to build the tech out and, make sure you surround yourself with people you trust. Yeah. It's the roofing industry. I hear a story every day about partners doing something bad to each other. And, my business partner and I have been friends and partners we'll be working on 20 years, the longest relationship I've had in my life.
Yeah, well, that's good advice. That definitely is good advice because I've heard those stories too. And yeah, work with people you trust for sure. Yeah.
So, we got a lot of different moving parts to what we do, but it's like I met with a roofing contractor today, and he was interested in the pay pixel thing, and I was like, great, and so we've got him set up to fly and create value for himself by flying neighborhoods that he sees that has damage, he's going to upload and do that. And then he was asking about the rejuvenation thing, and I showed him the white label partnership. And he's like, "How much does this cost?" I'm like, "Nothing. You just got to sell it." He's like, "Will you come out and train my sales team?" I was like, "Absolutely." So now he has a brand new division of his company that he can offer rejuvenation, and then he'll get a revenue share from us. We'll fulfill the order that he takes from his clients, and then we'll give him a 6-year warranty on the work that we did with the rejuvenation. And now his client is happy for the next few years. He's retained them for the long term, and he's made a few bucks on top of it. And it
And he's
gives his
still
salespeople an extra thing to sell, you know?
yeah, and he's still operating under his own brand.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
100%. Whereas there's
interesting.
the larger company that does this, they're kind of, you have a territory, it's exclusive. You can't play with others. And, you know, we want to get a fair shake in the market and give everybody a chance that wants to participate.
Yeah. Well, Gene, we're gonna link to all these numerous businesses of yours in the podcast about. So anybody who's listening and wants to get a little more information or check out any of Gene's companies, that information will be available. And Gene, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today. And it was a pleasure.
Hey, Jesse, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Look forward to getting down and seeing some of you guys on your side soon. I think we're going to be out that way.
Very good. Thanks, Gene.
Take it easy.